Okay guys, I got something new that I want to show you. I figured out how to do it myself just through some research, and I wanted to give you guys just a quick tutorial on how you could create it, use it, implement it in your classroom in various different ways. And what I'm talking about is self-grading pixel art worksheet, which is pretty cool in the fact that number one, it provides immediate feedback because it's essentially a self-grading worksheet. And you can vary the difficulty level with the self-grading worksheet. And the reason that I have in the background a quiz that I downloaded from the internet, for free, basically. This is just a quiz from Flocabulary, which is a great site. I recommend you guys using it. But it's a multiple choice quiz. So this is probably the easiest step to take. This would be the easiest route to go. It's also probably the most questionable route to go in that students can essentially pick A, B, C, or D and figure out the answer so they can work backwards. But just to give you the overall idea of how to create a worksheet like this, I wanted to start with this route. And then I'll tell you how to make it a little more difficult, a little more challenging, up the Lexile level or up the DOK level to make it really fit in your classroom. So number one, this is kind of what I did. I used this particular quiz in my class, and what we did in Google Classroom, and I want to go to Sheets. That's where you need to be after you get your reference document, or you can create a worksheet solely in Sheets that you can use right there. So I'll show you both methods. Okay, so this is my pixel art self-check sheet using the quiz that you just saw. So if you open this quiz, I gave them a PDF document. Actually, I gave them an editable document on Google Classroom where they could circle their answers, and then they transfer their answers over to this self-grading sheet, the pixel art sheet. So let's say number one says, which is the best definition of fiction? Obviously, it's going to be a story that comes from the author's imagination, letter A. So you go back over to your sheet, and what I've done here, and I'll show you how to do this in just a second, but I've created some columns for the question and the answers. So which answer coincides with question number one? We know that the answer is A. So when I click A, it's going to start to reveal some color for you. And the end result is okay, so when you get all of the answers filled in, you can see that a emoji appears, and what this does is it gives the student feedback that tells them, yeah, your answers are right. And if they have anything missing, such as, if they chose instead of C for question number 6, let's say they chose B. So they have some blank areas that need filled in. They know, oh, I messed up on number 6. So it gives them feedback in that they can go back in and try again, check their answers. Now this one, this is the easiest option. It's also the option where students can just test, is it A, B, C, or D? Let me get the right answer and then go back to my quiz and put that right answer in. They could work backwards that way if they can figure it out, in which you will have some students that will. But you can set it up to where the answers are harder. The answers are more difficult to uncover. You can have a math equation that has a completely numerical answer that you have to get the exact digits right. You can have an English answer where you have a misspelling of a word and you have to spell the word correctly in order to get it right, and you have to put exactly those letters in there or the colors will not be revealed. So there are multiple ways that you can add learning to this. You can have a word jumble and you have to unscramble the word. You can have a definition and put a vocabulary word in. You can have a science term and put the exact term in for the answer. Or you can have a multi-part equation, put the answer in for that. So it varies across the board, but it's going to allow you also to be pretty flexible with what you can put in for your answers. So now I'm just going to kind of tell you how to work with this and how to walk through creating this assignment. So the way you set this up is pretty simple. I'm going to go to a new file, and I'm just going to click new spreadsheet so you kind of see what I'm working with. I've already built it for you. I'm just going to show you how to format the sheet, and then we're going to go back to the other sheet and talk about coding. So when you guys get your spreadsheet open, it's going to look like this, which is not what you want it to be. You want it to look more like graph paper. You can click on this origin point right here, and what that's going to do is highlight all of your spreadsheet. And then if you take this column and move it over, it's going to make every column the same size. But it looks kind of like a grid now. So that's kind of what you want. And then we're just going to click out of the space. Now you want your A column and your B column to be a little bit larger so you can put your answers and your questions in there. That looks a lot like what I have over here. Questions, answers. You can put some instructions in here if you wanted to. Just merge the cells. But for right now, we're just going to put question and answer. Real simple. Okay, so for question number 1, for example, I will have a certain answer. So how did I make this? Work? Well, first thing you have to do is take your grid and you have to draw out the images that you want. I think you guys can do a quick Google search and figure out what kind of pixelated image that you might want. Popular things that kids like today are Among Us. They might want to see an Among Us picture be revealed. Different things like that. There are lots of pixelated games out there, like 8-bit games or 32-bit games that you can look up. Wreck-It Ralph, Mario, lots of stuff that you can use, emojis especially. But basically this is how it works. So over here on this document, notice that I'm going to work backwards right now. Okay. So I have my image completed. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to go to Format, Conditional Formatting. And that's going to bring up everything that I have in my formatting. So you're going to use this. Now, I'm going to show you just using a simple pattern. I'm going to draw using my fill can. I'm just going to draw some different grids here. I'm just going to make a square. Okay, so in my square, now I want to fill this with maybe red. Okay, so we're just going to work with this right now. You understand that you have different colors that you can work with and different shapes that you can work with, but this is just a simple feature that I want to show you. Okay, so for question number 1, if the answer is A, for example, okay, then we want to set up some of these colors to be revealed when we click answer A. So what you do is you go to conditional formatting under the formatting tab. That's going to allow you to select a range for the grid pattern that you have. So right now we're working with B2, just like bingo, B2. That's where we are. And you want to set up a custom formula. So you go to Format Rules. So your ruling will be a custom rule for starting point B2. And that's going to also include everything else that you select if an answer is a certain value. And the way that you write the code for that is you use an equal sign, a dollar sign, and then you use your grid code, which is B. You put another dollar sign. You use your second grid orientation, and that is the number 2. Then you put an equal sign, and you close it out with whatever your answer is. If it's a word answer, you have to put it in quotation marks. If it's a numerical answer, you just put your number. So let's say, for example, that we want our answer to be A. You would put quotation mark, A, quotation mark. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to start to then select a location that you want to reveal for that particular answer. So you have to do a formatting style, and the formatting style, you want to fill it with a color, which is going to be the same red color that we use in the picture or any other color that you use. and then you want to select a range. Right now, all you have is B2. So you want to select a range of colors. So let's move this out of the way. But basically what's going to happen here is I'm just going to press Control or Command, and I'm going to start to select different colors or different grids. So basically, these are my pixels, and I'm uncovering them. So there's all the ones that I selected. Let's move this up so you can see the OK button. Press the OK button. That doesn't finish your ruling. The next thing you have to do is click Done. Now this is a really important step. Once you click Done, that rule has been set, but if you go on to the next grid, the next answer, you're going to confuse yourself because you're not going to know which boxes are being uncovered. So what you have to do is you have to go back up to the fill canister, the paint can, and you're going to want to click Reset. When you click Reset, then it unhighlights or unfills all of the boxes that you selected before. So you can now go to question number 2, and whatever answer question number 2 is, let's say you want answer number 2, and it's under B3. You want this one to be on your custom formula. Remember, you put equals, $, B, $, and this time it's going to be 3 equals, and let's say that's going to be answer B. So everything you click for B, and they can have the same answers, it just depends upon what you're revealing. So we still want to keep our color the same because it's all a square. I tried to make it as simple as possible just to kind of teach you how to do it yourself. Then you select your range, and this time we know what's already been uncovered, so we won't select them again. So press Control and just start to uncover some more of your grid. Go down to OK, and then go to Done, and remember to go back up to your fill color paint can, click Reset, and that takes away all the ones you've already used. So right now we have certain ones that we've selected. I don't need to do them all. I've shown you how it works. But if I select my answers now, if I go in here and I click A, watch what happens. So, and then number 2 is B. Watch what happens. So there you go. Essentially, you've created a worksheet that grades itself. And with some of your artistic ability and using, relevant material for your students, whatever they might like, Among Us, for example, you can create something that they're interested in, something that's relevant for them, and something that's fun for them that gives immediate feedback and does self-grading. So it's a win-win. And remember, you can change this to not be as easy as just putting multiple choice answers in that they can go and check. But you can change it to say, let's say I want my answer for this one to be the answer to a word jumble, and I want it to be maybe idiom, the word idiom. Okay, so for a word jumble that uses the word idiom, I want to use all my letters, for example, maybe M, D, I, O. I think that's right. And then we take that away, obviously, and they have to kind of come up with that. Maybe you can give them a definition there instead of a word jumble. But now they have to put the word idiom in, but if they misspell it, let's see if they put, and they forget the M. Nothing happens. But if they go in here and they put I-D-I-O-M, exactly the way that you spelled it out right here, and you click Done, make sure that that rule is in place. Now, what happens is it completes the cycle, basically. So you can do that multiple ways. This way, they can't really cheat and backtrack, but it's up to you how you want to do this. I started out with multiple choice just because it was easier. And this was the sort of the result of that, using a pre-made quiz. You can make up your own quiz and your own multiple choice answers, but this gives the students just another option that is a little more laid back, a little less boring than traditional, quizzes. It provides feedback. It can be used for review. Um, it's really simple to create and really simple to use and simple to assign. You just assign it like you would any other document, and students can turn it in, and you get automatic feedback to know whether or not they have the right answers because their picture would be filled in. Um, so you're able to quickly check what they may have missed. But it also gives them a little bit of flexibility to not miss the answers as well, because they can go back and do it until they get it correct. So I hope you like this sort of a tutorial. I hope you utilize this tool and have some success with it in your classroom. And if you do, let me know in the comments. Okay, check back again for more videos.